Kept you waiting, huh? It's been a while since we've seen or heard from Orville Milam, but he is in fact alive and well. Initially, I had an outlandish idea to cordon off Louisville one section of the city at a time, but I realized this would be a silly idea for someone with the attention span of a magpie in the Fort Knox vault, on top of Zomboid being Zomboid. I was out of ideas until I came across this in one of the many meme channels and discords that I'm in.
Ramirez, keep them away from Regatown!
As Orville is a true-blooded American that will measure in eagles per gun before even thinking of using the metric system, I had a new goal in mind to fortify the Spiffos headquarters in the heart of Louisville. As much as I love the Nicolas Cage house, we now have a greater purpose given to us by higher powers. We are to turn our cuddly orange overlord into a symbol of hope to any survivors that may still exist in parts unknown and beyond. This wouldn't exactly be the easiest task with the HQ being deep in downtown Louisville, but if anyone can do it, our man Orville would be my number 2 pick. Number 1 is the woodcraft guy, who I'm sure is doing just fine. As perfect as his hammer technique is, Orville is still a demigod. An all-American demigod that enjoys the smell of gunpowder and a bruised shoulder from a day at the range. To satisfy this need, we paid a visit to the Army surplus store in the northwestern part of Louisville for all the guns and ammo to satisfy the man for a couple of months, depending on whether or not the urge to desk pop is strong.
Guns!
Returning to the Nick Cage house, I loaded up the M16s into the back of the boozemobile along with anything else I thought I would need before heading out the following morning. I drove around the city until I caught a glimpse of our favorite orange raccoon in all his glory.
Target acquired.
Since I bought all this ammo, I intended to use all of it in a barbaric ritual of bloodshed to appease our adorable overlord. After painting the parking lot various shades of red, I fought my way up to the top of the headquarters where a zombie was kind enough to give Orville a suit to make his position in this new world official. Since it was getting late and barricading this place would take a while, I put a furniture barricade in the office before turning in for the night. As I started cutting down trees around the place, I saw a small group of zombies in front of the office building next door and figured I'd take them out. But it seems like there was a coup assembled in there to overthrow the new leadership next door. We do some blasting and bashing to win our little turf war there and finish the night off with some reading and exercise. Since the rain was still going, I prioritized making rain collector barrels on the roof to get started on water collection. This was especially important since there aren't any conveniently close bodies of water in this part of the city. There was also the issue of long-term food supply as the canned goods would run out eventually. Doubly so if I couldn't get a farm going. Thankfully, Louisville provides all of this and more in droves as I find nearly everything I need in this large warehouse on the west side of town. By day 70, I had the first floor windows boarded up, and doors set in place between clearing out occasional stragglers and working on the roof. My next task would be to get generators up and running, one for the HQ and the other for a nearby gas station. Thankfully, the storage facility near the military surplus store from earlier had plenty of generators to provide. This was also the time I went around the parking lot for scrap electronics before the zombies decayed along with any of the loot they had on them before setting up a generator. There were plenty of zombie heads to spot between the Spiffo building and a nearby gas station, which took me a couple of days to clear a path to, but we got there on day 73 with plenty of gas cans in tow. After nabbing a few appliances, behold! We have lights now. The following day, I had basically played The Sims for a bit to furnish the office before heading down to the largest police station in Louisville. I pretty much cleaned out the armory of 9mm ammo and shotgun shells before taking a nice drive around town. Along with picking up food and friends along the way, I ultimately ended up at a bookstore. After all, what good would this self-proclaimed beacon of hope be without a library to preserve and pass on the knowledge of pre-apocalyptic practices? Upon my return from one of the many troves of knowledge, it appears the undead, whom I presume are from the office building, broke down a few of my doors. Some late night repairs later, I decided it was my turn to raid them, and inside I found a perfectly preserved cinnamon roll along with some more unruly neighbors. I finished up my giant shaped farm plot, offered the perfectly preserved cinnamon roll to the Council of the Ducks, installed a sink, and did more furniture rearrangement before going out again to grab more rain collector materials on day 79. This time, upon returning home, the Boozemobile's tire popped and a special guest appeared. The Spiffo suit zombie. A sign from the Zomboid gods themselves that Orville was deemed worthy of the throne and the crown to go with it.
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
The The next day, I replaced some tires and took a red van that I found nearby to fill up some gas cans and worked on some safety fencing around the roof before a thunderstorm rolled in. As the storm passed through, the Plushy Pals held a meeting down the hall while I read some skill books in my office. Cozy moments like this are what I love about Zomboid. One moment I'm painting the town red, then the next moment I'm reading texts by the scholars of Flavortown in the company of my rubber ducky friends while a storm rolls by. Anyways, I took the red van out for a spin again to get my zoomies out. This time I went around the mall area and came across a little gun store that I emptied out.
Yeah, boy.
Since I figured the Grand Ohio Mall has a Gigamart built into it along with some bookstores, I made plans to head up there with plenty of firepower. I loaded up some bags with a variety of unboxed ammunition because according to Zomboid, a true American demigod can grab hundreds of individual bullets faster than boxed ammunition. With a shotgun in hand and ammo resupply bags dropped off at 2 different parts of the parking lot, this is the joy of painting with Orville Ross.
I got 57 more goddamn rounds in this 4-round magazine.
One Gigamart raid and a return trip later, I figured I'd go back to the mall again to show the zombies how they get cars into the mall for display and to check the rest of the place out. Well, at least until I decided to pull a John Wick around the mall.
You serious?
I even fired the M16 for a little bit. Now sure, there's a neat little gun store in the northern end of the mall, but what I'm really here for was another Boris the Badger plushie and any other friends in the toy store. On my way out, I also picked up some potted plants that would look great in the office and returned home to some seed-bearing cabbages that are ready for harvest. What a lovely office I got going here. Here are my stats, by the way. I returned to the mall with a boozemobile for the rest of the pew-pews and raided townhouses for an oven, cooking supplies, and anything else that I thought was just neat. Like this katana. After all, what good would a king be without a sword to knight any fellow survivors that may still be out in the world? To celebrate CEOrville taking over Spiffos, we made some pancakes, sandwiches, and a cup of coffee before sitting down and booting up his sick new gaming PC on day 90. Huh, wonder what this game is all about. As always, my friends, if you made it this far, like the video if you liked it, leave a comment if you feel inclined to do so, and subscribe if you want to see more. Even if you don't do one or any of these for that matter, thank you for your time. Either way, have a lovely day, thank you for the support as always, and I'll see you in the next one.